Sam quit Hollywood to open a pub in Scotland. Caitriona is the only one who knows the real reason. It was a hot day in Los Angeles that day, as if the sun were pouring its anger on the world. The bright light bounced off the glass walls of the Beverly Hills Hotel, where Sam Heughan sat in a room filled with flowers and new movie scripts. He couldn't read a single line. On the table, the phone rang constantly, messages from the director, from the studio, from PR managers wanting him to confirm a new contract. A multi-million-dollar action movie, shot in Europe, the male lead role reserved for him. It all seemed like a dream that any young actor could dream of. But Sam felt empty. He gently ran a hand through his graying hair, looked out the window. The California sunshine was golden, but his heart was as cold as a Highland winter. There was a knock on the door. The assistant poked her head in. "Sam, Caitriona just called. She's in London, wants to talk to you." He smiled, picked up the phone. The voice on the other end of the line was familiar, warm as a cup of hot tea in a Celtic rain. "Sam, I heard you were thinking about quitting." He was silent for a long time. She waited patiently. "Not quitting," he said finally, his voice low but gentle. "I just want to live for real. Not in a script, not in front of a camera. I miss Scotland. I miss the sound of the wind blowing through the meadows, the smell of coal smoke in the village pub." Caitriona chuckled. "I knew this day would come. You are a man of the earth, of the wind, of the mist, not of neon signs." They talked for an hour, not just about work, but about memories, about the years they filmed Outlander in the rain, about the evenings they sat in the van, listening to the rain on the roof and talking about freedom. When the call ended, Sam stood up, opened his suitcase, and began packing things one by one, not the fame, but some simple clothes, a few books, and the whiskey flask he always carried with him as a talisman. 3 weeks later, he was at Edinburgh Airport. No cameras, no fans, just the fog and the smell of damp earth greeted him. The small village near Loch Lomond nestled between rolling hills, its grey stone roofs hidden in the morning mist. It was a place he had visited as a child, fishing with his father, sitting by the fire with his mother telling fairy tales. The old pub, the Thistle Oak, stood at the beginning of the village, rotten wooden doors, slanted sign, and dusty windows. It was where Sam had his first pint when he was 17, and where he promised himself that if he ever got bored with being an artist, he would return here. That day, the owner of the bar, Old MacLeod, a man with a snow-white beard and a hoarse whiskey laugh, saw Sam walk in and gasped. "Well, isn't this some famous TV actor?" he said half-jokingly. "Why are you coming to this remote corner?" Sam laughed. "Because this is home. And I want to buy this bar, if you agree." The old man leaned back in his chair, looked at him for a long time, then nodded. "If you promise to leave it as it was before, no selfie taking, no movies, no big screens. Just wine, music, and good stories. I promise," Sam said, his voice as firm as the wind blowing through stone. In the months that followed, he stayed in the village. The people were surprised at first, then gradually got used to it. They saw him scrub the bar himself, repaint the door, and learn how to mix drinks in the old way. He learned how to smoke malt, how to age whiskey in oak barrels. He enjoyed polishing the frosted glasses, listening to the wind blowing through the cracks in the door, and waiting for the first customer to come in. One afternoon, as the sunset fell on the lake, Caitriona arrived. Unannounced, no crew, no cameras. Just her, in a long wool coat and muddy boots. Sam looked up from wiping the table, and almost dropped the glass in his hand. He smiled sheepishly. "You found your way here." Caitriona smiled, the wind blowing her hair gently. "In Scotland, All roads lead to people you remember. She looked around, the small bar, the warm light, the smell of burning wood in the fireplace, the soft folk music playing from the old radio. Niece, Sam, I think you've found your place. He invited her to sit down and poured 2 glasses of whiskey, the first he had brewed. They were both silent, listening only to the wind and the crackling fire. I'm afraid I'm crazy, Sam said softly. Give up everything. No, she interrupted, her eyes shining in the firelight. I'm just living. The world out there is too noisy, and here, I can hear my heart again. She stayed for 3 days, helping him clean, laughing with the villagers, even helping write the menu for the tavern. Whiskey, ale, soup, and stories. Sam laughed as he read it. Do you think the customers will understand? If they don't deserve to be here. When Caitriona left, the morning misty, she stood in front of the tavern door and turned back. Call me when you open. Wherever I am filming, I will fly back. Sam nodded, his eyes sparkling but his smile still warm. I promise. And sir, in mid-April of the following year, the Thistle Oak officially opened window. No billboards, no ribbon-cutting ceremony, just a few villagers, a small band, and the scent of wine wafting everywhere. As the oil lamps were lit, someone walked in, Caitriona, in her color guard jacket. She said nothing, just raised her glass. Sam looked at her, the bottom of his glass responding. Cheers, Sam Hewen. You're home.